Thank you very much for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. And today's session, actually my chairman emeritus, Dr. K.D. Singh was supposed to be here and deliver the talk. But somehow, as you all know, that the parliament session is also hotting up, and he being a member of the parliament, Rajya Sabha, his presence was required today in Delhi to be contributing from his side on the decisions that are going to be taken today. Well, that be so. I have the honor of representing him, and this is because the research and development technology for infrastructure development has always been very, very close to the heart of Dr. K.D. Singh, who's not only a great business visionary, but also is a brilliant economist. He has drawn out the mosaic for the economic development of our nation through the build-up of strong and modern infrastructure right through the entire length and breadth of our country. Now, his plans are based on introducing some revolutionary technologies to completely alter the way we are currently designing and constructing our roads with some primitive techniques, which are out of pace with the professional skills of the developed nations and also our neighboring country, China. When we talk of the national aspirations of becoming a dominant regional power and a participating global power, we remain way behind China in the development of road infrastructure within the country and the infrastructure that is leading to the borders from the hinterland. This remains a strategic weakness, and our policymakers are well aware of this debility. Therefore, when we talk of the three pillars of the national strength that together form the comprehensive national power of a nation, the three pillars are the economy, the military, and the political and the bureaucratic infrastructure. Now, Alchemist has undertaken the responsibility to address all these three pillars in some or other way. And our aim is to bring some revolutionary technologies to totally re-engineer the strength, the cost, the time parameters for developing the infrastructure, and by doing so, provide the inherent advantage to improve the economy. So therefore, this is how we add our shoulder to the wheel in addressing the economic pillar, which I'll cover subsequently in my talk. The next, being the political pillar of national strength, is being addressed by Dr. K.D. Singh in his personal capacity, being a member of the Parliament of the Rajya Sabha and a very active, forceful, and a dynamic leader of the TMC. The third contribution, that is to the third pillar of the national strength, will also be covered by me later in my talk. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, basically, I'll touch upon the new technologies which have been introduced for not only the pavement construction in general and the road construction in particular, but also some revolutionary green technologies in the mining industry, in the rock breaking industry, and for tunneling operations, particularly in the metro rail construction. Its use in the built-up areas where safety is a major factor of concern to avoid collateral damages. I'm sure it would be known to many of you that India has got about 4 million kilometers of road network. It is the second largest in the world, but the quality remains very poor. This is partly because road development in India traditionally has emphasized on rural connectivity rather than the investment in arterial highways. The national highways, a little over 34,000 kilometers, and the state highways, a little over 130,000 kilometers, which together carry about 40% of the traffic, makes only 6% of the total network. The rest consists of rural and district roads. Of the national highways, we have started now developing lately some expressways. There are very few 4-lane highways, and mainly we have only 2-lane or single-lane highways. And when we come to the state highways, we have mostly single-lane highways. Due to the congestion our commercial vehicles are covering only about 200 to 250 kilometers average in a day span, as compared to about 600 to 650 kilometers being covered in some of the developed countries. Our infrastructure development has not kept pace with the growth in the rest of the country. Till 2007, we were spending about 5% of the GDP on infrastructure, which increased to about 7% during 2009-10 and was estimated to go up to about 8.5% last year. The private investment has increased from 25% in 2007 to about 39% last year. However, the fact remains that most of our projects are running behind schedule by a number of years. Many concessionaires have either pulled out of the contracts or have expressed their inability to construct roads due to either the steep rise in the price of construction material, or more important is the non-availability of aggregates due to the court orders on the ban of some of the mining and quarrying activities in the country. Our ports are also a major handicap in the efforts to achieve global competitiveness. Our total port capacity today is inadequate, and they are also characterized by some obsolete technology, restrictive labor practices, and outdated custom clearance procedures. All of these contribute to the long delays in the cargo clearance at a much higher cost as compared to some of the other Asian countries. Our ship turnaround is on an average about 7 to 8 days as compared to 8 hours only, which is achieved by Singapore. International merchant shipping today prefers to transship cargo to India through Colombo or Dubai because of the low handling capacity and also our container and handling costs being also much higher. The Indian Railways being no different, due to the constraints of budget allocations and political implications on increasing the passenger and the cargo fares, the railways have not been able to develop the dedicated freight corridor, which is very essential for transportation of goods from the ports to hinterland and vice versa. Now, while the road infrastructure sector is going in a little bit of recession mode, the telecom sector has seen a phenomenal growth with a substantial growth in the power sector also. Therefore, over the years, India's soft infrastructure has grown much faster than the hard infrastructure. The government is aware of the direct link between the GDP and its dependency on the growth in infrastructure, and therefore has planned for a $1 trillion investment in infrastructure, 50% of which will be coming or will be funded by the private sector. Now, therefore, given this enormity of investment requirement and the depleting state of natural resources, compiled with the restrictions imposed on the toxic emissions and restrictions on the use of aggregates through mining and quarrying, it is very essential for us to accept some technologies which are accredited with carbon credits. These technologies have no toxic emissions, which are more economical and give an overall savings of anything between 12 to 25% for construction of roads, and as compared to the conventional methods, depending on the type of soil. And these technologies also reduce the time of construction by about 30% and improve the quality of the roads by about 300 to 400%, thereby also bringing down the subsequent costs for the maintenance of these roads. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is about this technology I will talk, which has been brought to India by the Alchemist Group in the form of a soil stabilizer known as RBI Grade 81. The stabilizer is an inorganic pavement material which is used while, with the existing soil to carry out a binding action of the in situ soil, and thus eliminate or drastically reduces the requirement of aggregates and bitumen for the construction. To give you a small example, for the construction of about 1 kilometer of a national highway, where you require about 8,000 trucks for bringing in and taking out the material, with RBI Grade 81, for the same stretch, we'll require only about 800 truckloads. So you can imagine the amount of fuel that would be saved, the pollution that would be reduced, and also it reduces the use of bitumen to a great extent, also reduces the use of the hot mixing plants which emit poisonous gases to a great extent. Now, RBI grade 81 also being impermeable to water also eliminates the leaching of the soil by not permitting the pollutants to enter the groundwater from the surface and thereby mixing up with the groundwater and polluting the same. Now, one such estimate gives out the advantages of using this technology being offered by Alchemist to the nation. If one was to apply this technology, we would be able to save every year in the aggregates itself by about 170 million metric tons. We'll be able to save on bitumen by about 1.5 million metric tons, and thereby an overall saving probably of about 170 billion rupees. And with the same amount of money, we could construct additional about 10,000 kilometers of roads every year in our country. This product has been thoroughly tested in the laboratory and the field conditions by the Central Road Research Institute, Delhi, by the Highway Research Station, Chennai, most of the IITs of our country, and the Indian Road Congress has also given accreditation to this product. The National Institute of Toxicology, Lucknow, has certified it as non-toxic, and the Ministry of Environment and Forest is now conducting some field trials in the state of Karnataka, and the stretch is now under evaluation by the government agencies. The Defense Department has tested the product thoroughly for 1 year and has approved for use in all works of the Indian Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Several road stretches have been made in the country. Some have included RBI grade 81 in their schedule of rates, but yet the formal approval of this technology is awaited, and this is probably due to some mines which are cemented as concrete blocks, and they are holding on to the conventional methods. But we are very hopeful that very soon this technology will be cleared by the ministry also. This was one part. The second technology that we are getting in is the eco-braking technology. This is to replace the conventional explosives that we are using in the mining industry. The technology replaces the use of conventional explosives and avoids the use of very expensive mechanical breakers which are used either in the mining industry or for the construction of tunnels for the roadways or the railways in mountains and the high altitude areas, including its applicability in the underground operations by the metro rail network. This technology uses small cartridges which do not detonate like a conventional explosive. The conventional explosive, as you all know, emits poisonous gases, has a very, very large safety distance due to the shattering and the blast effect of the explosive. It's very high in the noise decibels, but as compared to this, the eco-braking cartridge, I will call it EBT, has no noise compared to the shot, and the noise is just compared to a shot which is fired from a pistol which is fitted with a silencer. It emits no poisonous gases. The safety distance is less than about 10 meters. It has got no blast effect and hence can be used even in thickly habitat areas right within the heart of the towns and cities with no collateral damages. As compared to the conventional explosive, on ignition, the EBT cartridge does not explode. It only deflagrates. That is a slightly higher rate of burning. And it falls under the safety classification of fireworks like those Diwali patakas or the matchbox for the storage and transportation. And the rocks can be cut to absolute surgical precision, thereby avoiding any overcutting or undercutting. However, the most significant advantage of this technology is that it will eliminate the risk of theft and use of explosive by any terrorists. The tunnels we are constructing for the railways or the roadways today or the metro, and it's taking number of years, probably the same task can be completed just in a few months Alternatively, given the same amount of time, probably we'll be able to double our length of construction if we use this technology. Therefore, I strongly feel that as the world's largest democracy and a rapidly growing economy, we need to assert a greater leadership role and occupy the rightful place we deserve in the comity of the nations. Having commanded one of the largest divisions on the Indian Army on borders with China, I am privy to the type of infrastructure that China has got all along their border and to their mainland. And compared to them, our Border Roads Organization has a long way to go in adopting new technologies for road construction. I am of the firm opinion that a small stretch of border roads be given to a modern concessionaire by the government to make them realize the difference between the modern technology and the use of primitive methodology. To become strong militarily, there is no other way but to improve the existing infrastructure leading to the borders. This is how Alchemist intends to assist the nation, and this is how we intend to address the third pillar of our national strength and thus contribute to the firming up of the comprehensive national power of the nation. With this, I complete my talk on the use of technology in infrastructure development. I have only made an endeavor to make a humble contribution in the use of technology for a specific area of development. With more speakers giving their views on other facets of technological innovations and breakthroughs, I am sure by the time we are through with this grand event, our baskets will be filled up to the brim with the pearls of wisdom which we would have gathered from this congregation. Thank you and Jai Hind.